Welcome back, everybody. Just wanted to make a video about some of the stuff that's going on here. You know, we got all this going on with ICE and stuff, and um, all the riots and all everything going on. Um, you got some people that's recording these agents and following them around and all this stuff. I agree with it. These illegals need to be deported. Um, the fraud needs to be investigated, and that needs to be took care of. And at the same time, I believe that we have Constitution, we have rights, and recording the agents is our First Amendment right. We have that right to record these agents, and judges have ruled that following police around and stuff, that's not illegal. So, the rough-handed tactics and stuff of when people are not actually physically attacking them, or not actually doing anything to them. And we've seen the videos where they're shoving them down, they're pepper spraying them in the face, stopping them for following them and pulling them out of their car and roughing them up and all this stuff. While I agree they probably shouldn't do a lot of this stuff that they're doing, it's not illegal. And like I said, it's constitutional for us to record them. That's how we keep them in line, is to record them. I actually suggest that anytime you're dealing with government, period, really, but especially police, you should be recording. So I don't agree with that. And we're going to look at something here. Brian from over to Here's the Deal channel has made a video, and I want to kind of go over a little bit of it here, and he'll explain some stuff to you, and then I'll make some commentary too. But let's just take a look here and see what he's got going on. Okay.
Other than the fact that people who take these local, state, and federal law enforcement positions thinking that they can just tyrannically oppress the rest of us because badges and uniforms they believe grant special rights, the reason they act like this right here.
This is your warning.
For what?
Stop following us. You are impeding operations. This is the United States federal
I live
government.
over here. I gotta get
This
to
is
my house.
This is your warning. I guarantee you're not going to like the outcome. Go home to your children. It's Sunday.
Yeah, go
It is
exactly.
Sunday.
Let people go to
You
church.
did not learn from what just happened? Go home to
Learn
your
what?
kids.
One of the reasons they act like this and have become so unashamedly insolent is because the Department of Homeland Security apparently has told them in a bulletin that recording their actions is against the law. It's a violation, and the DHS will prosecute you to the fullest extent of the law if you dare exercise your First Amendment constitutionally protected right. It says right here from Fox 5 New York, ICE says it's illegal to record agents, but is DHS policy actually unlawful? Gee, I wonder if prohibiting Americans from exercising their unalienable rights is unlawful. Who cares if it's unlawful? It's unconstitutional. We'll go over the brief and I'll give you the meat and potatoes. ICE agents conducting immigration operations around the Twin Cities continue to tell observers that it is illegal to follow and record their actions. And really, this is nothing new. Now, while local and state cops won't say it's illegal, they most of the time won't come out and just outright say the quiet part out loud. They'll treat you like what you did was illegal. They'll treat you even like what you did was unconstitutional and criminal. Several videos posted to social media show ICE agents in Minnesota telling observers to stop recording. We're going to watch another one here in a second. Some observers say that they've been detained simply for filming, and we've seen that. It's not just hearsay. We've got recorded evidence of it. A federal judge in California recently found DHS has adopted a policy that suppresses protected First Amendment reporting, observation, and speech activities. And if you want to go down a dangerous road, then we should just continue to go down this road right here. Several videos posted to social media show ICE agents in Minnesota telling observers to stop recording. Some observers say that they've been detained simply for filming. A federal judge recently found DHS has adopted an unlawful policy that suppresses First Amendment rights. Wait till you see exactly what he says. What we know, several videos posted to social media show ICE agents in Minnesota telling observers to stop recording. Some observers say that they were detained simply for filming. According to Fox 5 New York, a DHS bulletin issued last June identified the use of cameras, live streaming interactions with officers, and video recording at protests as, quote, unlawful civil unrest tactics and threats. Now, I queried this in ChatGPT, in Grok, and in Gemini, and I couldn't find the exact bulletin. It was nowhere to be found. If you can find it, just drop a link in the comments below. The bulletin was cited in an ongoing court case out of California in which journalists accused DHS of adopting an unlawful policy suppressing protected First Amendment reporting, observation, and speech activities. The lawsuit claimed DHS Secretary Kristi Noem, quote, established, sanctioned, and ratified an agency policy of treating video recording of DHS agents in public as a threat that may be responded to with force and addressed as a crime. Keep in mind, the very woman who from South Dakota said that she's all about the Constitution and protecting First Amendment, Second Amendment, and specifically Fourth and Fifth Amendment freedoms is now saying you don't have one of the most fundamental freedoms that belong to Americans, the right to record and hold your government officials accountable, because that's what it is. This is what they're saying. We don't want transparency, and when we see you trying to shed light on our evil deeds, we're going to come after you and treat you as an actual criminal when we're actually the ones who are committing the crimes against Americans. The court records also include numerous statements from DHS officials about observers who follow and record them during interactions. In an official statement last summer, a DHS Assistant Secretary for Public Affairs said, quote, videotaping ICE law enforcement and posting photos and videos of them online is doxing our agents. Is it really? So when we watch you and view you commit crimes, and we record you in the commission of those crimes, and you get embarrassed about being caught committing those crimes, when we record you, we're the ones committing the criminal act of doxing you. Everybody should know who you are. We all need to.
Don't forget neither, guys, as soon as you leave your home, you're pretty much being video recorded everywhere you go. On the highways, in the stores, parking lots, it doesn't matter. Wherever you go, there's cameras and they're recording you. So, and then they've got those flock cameras and stuff they're putting up now, where they're actually using AI and stuff. They can track you with facial recognition, your vehicle, tag numbers, all this stuff. So, if it's harassing and doxing and all this for us to video them doing their government job, then what is it when they do all this to us? I mean, something to think about.
To know who the criminals in our community are so that we can take the appropriate measures and remove them from society. And then they say, we will prosecute those who illegally harass ICE agents to the fullest extent of the law. And what they're calling harassment is getting out your video camera and just hitting the record button. That's what they call harassment. The article goes on to say, but U.S. District Judge Hernan A. Vera ruled last week that DHS has in fact adopted a policy that appears to violate the First Amendment right to freedom of press. No, the Administrative Procedure Act. What the flip? You have this unalienable right that he could have used as a foundation to rule against DHS, and he decided to say that it appears that you're going against the Administrative Procedure Act. Quote, plaintiffs have plausibly and sufficiently alleged a decision to adopt a policy with regards to how DHS treats the recording of its agents. In addition, every federal circuit court of appeals that has addressed this issue has held that, quote, there is a First Amendment right to record police activity in public. Thank God that it looks like the federal circuit court of appeals, or some of them in there, have their heads screwed on straight. And that's according to a 2017 ruling from the Third Circuit. A federal judge in Minnesota heard similar arguments this week about ICE tactics being utilized as part of recent immigration operations. Now, what's going to happen here, and what is happening, is because we're so thoroughly and completely propagandized by government nonsense and political poison from the two-party uniparty system, the conservatives who used to call for the protection of First Amendment rights are now calling for government agents, ICE agents, DHS agents to attack those rights and the people who are exercising those rights, because them damn Democrats, them damn liberals in Minnesota. What does that damn liberal judge in Minnesota think he's doing out there? DHS needs to have a wide berth to be able to walk through and just trample anybody's rights. This is conservatives calling for this, simply because,
and guys, if you cheer for this now because it's, your side that's doing it. And I agree they should be able to do all this stuff. It's the liberals, whatever, because it's your side. Just remember, this stuff always has a way of flipping around back on you. And when it's the same thing being done to your side, you can't really say anything about it unless, without being a hypocrite. If we're going to stand on what's right, we're going to stand on the Constitution and our rights, we have to do it whether it's being done by our side or to our side. So keep that in mind.
It might be a Democrat judge or a Democrat governor, Jacob Frey, or a Democrat area like Minnesota. I don't care where you live or who you are or who made the decision. You got the right to record your public officials no matter where you see them and no matter what they're doing. You've got a right to record them, and nobody's got a right to take that right away, let alone threaten you to prosecute you to the full extent of the law and ruin your life because you got out a camera and decided, you know what, I'm an American, I'm going to stand for my rights, and I'm going to expose these tyrannical Gestapo goons. The ACL has gotten involved, filed a lawsuit claiming federal agents are violating the constitutional rights of protesters and observers, which is a matter of fact. During a court hearing on Tuesday, attorneys for DHS argued observers do not have First Amendment rights to peacefully follow law enforcement in the current environment because they are summoning crowds of antagonists who eventually impact ICE operations. Yeah, you heard that right. During a court hearing on Tuesday, just this past Tuesday, attorneys for the Department of Homeland Security argued that observers do not have First Amendment rights to peacefully follow law enforcement in the current environment because they're summoning crowds of antagonists who eventually impact ICE operations. If you're standing there recording cops committing their criminal, tyrannical activities on American soil, and other people happen to call other people to show up and do the exact same thing, that's not you summoning crowds of antagonists. That's you just standing there exercising your rights. In a video posted last week, an ICE agent snatched the phone out of a woman's hand as she was recording ICE agents during a traffic stop. The agent seemed to be accusing her of illegally following them. This is that ICE agent, and here is the interaction.
Shame on you.
Listen, have y'all not learned from the past couple of days? Have you not learned?
Learned what? What's our lesson here? What do you want us to learn?
Following federal agents.
Give me my phone back.
You know what he's saying? I believe following federal agents is a crime, and I'm going to treat you as a criminal if I...
Right there, guys. That almost sounds like he's saying, you know, did you not learn? You know, to stay away, not to, you know, follow us, not to record us, not to do anything. You know, almost like he's saying, you know, we killed the last one. Did you not learn your lesson? It's not a good look. Like I said, they're causing themselves a lot more backlash and trouble in the long run than if they just ignored people. And with the shooting of that good lady out there, I believe she was in the wrong for, you know, driving like she did towards the agent. Whether she was trying to flee or trying to hit him or whatever, that's not, I'm not talking about that. But it was kind of her fault because she shouldn't have done that. But it was also the agent's fault because he shouldn't have put himself in front of a vehicle. If he hadn't have walked in front of that vehicle, he wouldn't have been there to have to worry about it. So to me, they're both at fault.
I find that you're recording my fellow federal agents. So I'm going to take your property, I'm going to steal your property, and I'm going to come after you if I catch you following our federal agents and trying to expose us. You can take that to the bank. If you want to discover who actually rules and control you, all you got to do is find out who you're not allowed to record.
This is your warning.
For what?
Stop following us. You are impeding operations. This is the United States federal
I live
government.
over here. I gotta get
This
to
is
my house.
This is your warning. I guarantee you're not going to like the outcome. Go home to your children. It's Sunday.
Yeah, go
It is
exactly.
Sunday.
Let people go to
You
church.
did not learn from what just happened? Go home to
Learn
your
what?
kids.
Thugs like this are your enemies, and DHS considers you a criminal in the United States of America, the land of the free, home of the brave. If you like these commentary videos, maybe you'll like some of my others.
Yeah, they could handle this stuff a lot better than what they're doing. You know, like I said, we're recorded from the time we leave home. They've got cameras everywhere. I mean, it's about like China. When you leave your home, you're on video everywhere you go. And with the block cameras and all this stuff, facial recognition, like I said, they can track you. There's a bunch of videos on YouTube showing where they went to somebody's house, accusing them of a crime because they used these cameras to track them. One where they're accusing this lady of stealing a package off somebody's porch or something or other, and they use these cameras to track her vehicle, you know, through town and all the way back to her house, and saying that they saw her, they know it was her, and all this other stuff, but come to find out, it wasn't her. Her vehicle was being drove by her husband, and they never actually seen her steal a package to know that it was her. They were just assuming that it was her because they seen that vehicle drive by and followed it back to her house and was accusing her of it. So, I mean, this stuff is starting to get crazy. It's getting out of hand. And like I said, I understand they have a job to do. I don't have any problem with them doing their job. But at the same time, they have to stay within the bounds of the Constitution. You know, I don't even really care so much as far as about the law, because any law repugnant to the Constitution is void. But they have to stay within the bounds of the Constitution, and people have a constitutional right to record government in the course of their duties. And it's not illegal to follow them. If they ain't doing nothing wrong, they ain't got nothing to hide, I don't know why they would even care. They what they tell us all the time. Real quick, I got this one I'm wanting to show y'all too. It's just a short. And then I'll get y'all out of here.
You've been warned that you're continuing to follow us and you're breaking a lot of...
Oh, no. Hell no. Nope.
We warned you, sir.
Nope.
Ryan Eklund says he didn't go seeking out ICE, but when he saw them circling a grocery store parking lot in Woodbury, he started following, which eventually caught their attention.
How you doing?
Good, and you?
Doing just fine, thanks. What can I do for you?
Eklund followed out onto the streets of Woodbury as ICE agents led him to his own somewhat private neighborhood and past his own home.
Must have run my plate because they drove into my neighborhood and into my cul-de-sac where I live. There's no circumstance where they would have rolled through there without knowing that.
He stayed behind them until they stopped him.
Just fine. What can I do for you? One warning for what?
You will not be following us anymore, or you will be arrested.
I can follow you wherever I
You will
want.
be arrested.
A little while later, they followed through on that threat.
You've been warned that you're continuing to follow us and you're breaking a lot of...
Oh, no. Hell no. Nope.
We warned you, sir.
Nope. One of those ICE agents went into the back seat, gave me a chokehold around the driver's headrest, unbuckled my seatbelt from behind me in my car, and those 5 agents pulled me to the street, put me in cuffs, and put me in an unmarked van. And
ICE agents technically never arrested Eklund. They did cause several injuries, including a black eye and other marks on his face, and they held him at a detention facility for more than 9 hours. And the Department of Homeland Security did argue in court in Minnesota today that following them is illegal. The judge has not ruled on that, but constitutional scholars say judges have consistently ruled that following them is legal. A judge last week ruled that the ICE policy that was in place at least last June that said it was an unlawful form of civil unrest to record them. Well, that was an unconstitutional policy. Now, I reached out to ICE to ask about the incident that happened right here and about their policies, but so far they have not gotten back to us.
You've been warned that you're continuing to follow us.
Yeah, okay. So there you go, guys. It's and I mean, look, yeah, you're gonna have people, you know, they're all sensitive about these illegals and stuff, and they're gonna be wanting to fight and push back with the government about not wanting these illegals to be deported and all that. I understand that, but you know, when they step out of line and they do something they shouldn't, like you know, actually physically attacking them, or physically getting in their way to where they can't carry out their duties, arrest them. I have no problem with that. But just because they're, you know, filming you, following you around, you know, that's not illegal. Like I say, you have a First Amendment right to record them in the course of their duties. You know, get better at losing them. But you know, they act like they're scared to death sometimes, the way they act. And I've seen a lot of people, you know, Nate over at Valhalla, his YouTube channel's Valhalla. You know, he was a Green Beret. These guys go over and fight in Fallujah and some of these places. And they can't just shoot people because they get scared in a war zone. So our police and our agents and stuff shouldn't be so jumpy here. So And then all these fear tactics is what I think it looks like anyway. You know, coming up and banging on people's windows and stuff, threatening them, and then busting their windows out. You know, the guy said that they got in the back seat and put him in a chokehold around the headrest and unbuckled his seatbelt. You know, that's wrong. It's bullshit, and it shouldn't be happening here. As long as they're not physically attacking you or physically getting in your way, obstruction is a physical act. We see it on these police videos all the time where these cops, they use their position of government and the power of government to get back at these First Amendment auditors and stuff who are doing nothing but recording them doing their job and trying to keep them honest so that they honor and respect people's rights. You know, you got cops that are coming in people's homes without warrants, dragging them out of their homes without an arrest warrant, going and putting their foot in the doors so they can't shut their doors, going on people's property, even when they have the wrong address, because it seems like a lot of them don't know how to verify an address before they break in or bust in somebody's home or throw flashbang grenades through the windows to land in their baby's crib. And then when they tell them, say, you know, you're at the wrong address or you have the wrong house or whatever, then they don't want to leave. When they're told, hey, I would like for you to leave my property, they won't do it. They drive through people's yards, tear the grass up and stuff. I mean, I've seen a bunch of them. Here's the deal over there. He's got a bunch of videos over there that shows a lot of this stuff. You know, I'm not anti-cop. I'm not anti-law enforcement. I'm not anti-ICE or anything like that. Like I said, I agree that they need to get illegals out of here. But I am very pro-Constitution. And if you can't do this job of law enforcement or ICE agent or anything to do with the government and honor your constitutional rights, then you're in the wrong job. That's why the government has got out of hand the way it has now. That's why we have, you know, all these corrupt politicians that go in broke. Within a year, they're worth millions of dollars, and all this crap that's going on is because they don't care about the people anymore. And us as the people have allowed them to do it. We get what we allow. So it is our job to start showing them that we're not allowing it no more. And that's what I'm trying to do here with this channel. I want to try to get something done, get this country back on track, get our government back on track, before it gets to the point to where the only option we've got left is not the ballot box, but the bullet box. And we're getting close. There's people calling for it now. I seen earlier where last night there's a bunch of these people out here in Minnesota. They went and broke into a bunch of these ICE vehicles, stole government documents, arrest warrants, stole automatic rifles and weapons and stuff out of them. You know, stuff like that is going to lead to the Insurrection Act, martial law. You know, and then the way they're doing people is pissing people off. So it gets the citizens riled up, and then the citizens do stuff to get the agents riled up, and it's eventually going to explode into a war. I don't want that. I don't want, you know, pretty much a war going, a civil war type thing going on the streets where civilians are killing, you know, agents, and agents are killing civilians. So, like I said, I'm trying to put this stuff out here and show, you know, everybody what's going on. You know, get everybody to where they're speaking out. You know, call your congressman. You can try it. Like most of the time, they don't answer. Their voicemails are full. The government's not accountable to the people anymore. They come out and they talk a bunch of good stuff when it's election time. They promise you this, that, and the other, and then once they get in there, they don't do it. They don't care about us until it gets back to close to election time. We have to start doing something about these people in our government that are like that and get them out. Which, by the way, if you live in, I think it's District 23 in Texas, you've got a good one running for Congress, Brandon Herrera. If you live in the 23rd District in Texas, make sure you vote for Brandon Herrera. He's a good man, and he's doing it for the right reasons. But get involved in your government. Get involved in, I hate to say activism because it's liberals has ruined that, but that's what it is. But start pushing back against this government, whether it's right or left, red or blue, whatever. Folks, it don't matter. They're both wings of the same bird. They make it look like they're arguing, they're against each other, and all this crap. It's like wrestling. Once they go back out of view in the back, they both sit back there and drink a beer and laugh and slap each other on the back. It's all scripted pretty much. They keep us fighting, like I said, so as long as we're fighting each other, we're not fighting them. And it's divide and conquer. They're dividing us so they can conquer. And with all this Palantir and all this digital ID and getting rid of cash and digital money and all this stuff that's going on, they're fixing to have our necks in a noose. Anytime we step out of line, they're going to be able to shut everything, our money off, shut our electric off, shut our vehicles off, whatever they want. They're going to control everything. We have to stop fighting each other and start fighting them. But hopefully fight them in the constitutional way. But if it gets to it, we might have to do it the other way. So we have to kind of work together and do it together. And just have to take it as it goes. But that's all I had for you right now. I appreciate everybody showing up. If you would like the video, subscribe, share the video. I've got some things going across the screen down here. Like I said, this channel is not monetized at the moment. Anything anybody can do to donate and help out. Let's grow this channel. Let's push back. Let's fight this government. No matter who's in there. Like I said, red or blue, we got to fight it. We got to get it back in line, and we got to keep it in line. And pray for this country. Let's try to get back on track. We're all a big American family. We're brothers and sisters. I don't care about your color. I don't care if you're rich, poor, black, white. It doesn't matter. Red or blue on the parties. Like I said, that does not matter. It's the uniparty. They're all the same bird. But let's start trying to get this straightened out. And like I said, I appreciate everybody that comes. Leave comments. I'll read them. Like, share, subscribe. If you donate, I appreciate it from the bottom of my heart. I pray all of you have a good night, a good rest of your week. Until the next one, I appreciate it.